Alright guys, welcome back to Tenet Movie Reviews. My name's Jack. For those new to the channel, I review 3 new movies each week, classics and new releases to help make your streaming easier. With that being said, on to the movie for today, and that is Tenet. Let's go. Written and directed by Christopher Nolan, Tenet is his latest film and it is a psychological, mind-bending thriller. The movie follows the unnamed protagonist, a CIA agent who gets dragged into the mysterious world of Tenet, a secret organization that deals with temporal espionage. That is, they are spies that operate across time itself. When Tenet discovers objects that exhibit inverted entropy, which allows the objects to move backwards through time, the protagonist and a local contact, Neil, must stop a Russian oligarch, Andrei, from harnessing this power and starting a new world war. So I'm a big Christopher Nolan fan, like the rest of the world. Love the Dark Knight trilogy, love Dunkirk. Inception's great. I love a lot of his mind-bending stuff. And he sort of rips out his own classic blueprint again here. So there's lots of great set pieces. It's filmed across 7 different countries. There are lots of amazing action scenes in this. And the acting's also quite good. So it's a very talented cast. Pattinson in particular is exceptionally good. And it feels like this launching into his turn as the Batman is going to lead to a massive career sort of renaissance for him. It's probably similar to how Matthew McConaughey and the McConaissance happened. I feel like Pattinson's going to have a pretty massive next 10 years based on this movie. There's a great Michael Caine cameo as usual, as happens in every Christopher Nolan movie, and the score is incredible. I thought it was Hans Zimmer again because he always collaborates with Christopher Nolan. It wasn't, apologies, the composer is Ludwig Göransson, who I wouldn't say is taken out of the same Hans Zimmer playbook, but there's a lot of sort of booming, droning sounds similar to the scores from like Interstellar, the Batman movies. A lot of Hans Zimmer in this soundtrack. So those were all really good parts. The major detractor from this movie is Christopher Nolan's too big now. So he went full Nolan in this and made the plot just borderline impossible to follow. It got ridiculous. As I said, I love time travel films and those that use the concept of time as a framework for the plot. Not necessarily like, it doesn't have to be a time travel film, but Dunkirk and Inception, Christopher Nolan did a great job of using time as another character, essentially. This was just too far. So it's just far too complicated. It was so complicated that every second of the script is dedicated to explaining what Tenet is, what inverted entropy is, how things work, the physics of it. And you can't fault Nolan for lack of detail. He spent 4 years writing this script and lent on the expertise of a theoretical physicist similar to Interstellar, but you just get smashed over the head as a viewer. Every single scene is someone explaining something new, and it's usually Neil, Robert Pattinson's character, who acts as the narrator for these physical, theorems, I suppose. And it was just too much. I'd spend the whole next action sequence trying to work out what the physics were. And there's lots of people fighting, but then one's going backwards and one's going forwards, which sounds like a really cool idea. In the film, I just don't think it worked. Another annoying thing that Nolan does here, which is probably the most annoying thing he does in all his movies, he covers so many characters' faces with masks in this. You can't hear them. Like, it's similar to Tom Hardy in basically every role he's ever done. When he was Bane, when he was in Dunkirk, he just always whacks something over his mouth and it's just like muffled, just like a muffled thump. This combined with some sort of strange sound mixing choices meant that I didn't hear a word of dialogue for the first 15 minutes of this film, which was really disappointing because it was setting it up and it was an exciting sequence and it's great music and very thrilling, but if I can't hear what anyone's saying, it doesn't really matter. And it just made the time travel and the physics side of things even more confusing, I think. So what's my final verdict? There are some very clear red flags with the complexity in Tenet, but in all honesty, it's extremely entertaining. It's stunning. The cinematography is beautiful. The action sequences are great and you'll enjoy them despite the confusing nature. Washington and Pattinson give you a really lovable duo for you to get behind, which is really important for these movies that are traveling everywhere. And with such few characters, you need to develop some sort of human connection with those characters. So I'd recommend this to anyone, but it isn't the sort of movie that you can just chuck on in the background. You'll need to turn it on and concentrate on it. Because of that, I give this a rating of 7 out of 10. All right, what do you reckon? Let me know down in the comments. Did you like it? Was it too confusing for you? Should they have eased up on the, I don't know, theoretical physics side of things? Or did you enjoy it? Is it a cult classic now for you, similar to Donnie Darko, that people are going to be rewatching and rehashing? Where does it rank in Nolan's films for you? Let me know down in the comments. And that's all from me, guys. That's a wrap.